When your female cat climbs into your lap, starts pressing her paws into you, slow, rhythmic, almost like she's somewhere else entirely, do you actually know what she's doing? Most people think it's a cute little habit, something left over from kittenhood, but that explanation sells her completely short. Because behind every push of those tiny paws, there's a message she has been sending you over and over, and most owners have never once understood what she's really saying. Let's start with what most people get wrong from the very beginning. 1, she's not just being cozy. She's remembering. Have you ever watched your female cat knead and noticed how her eyes go half closed? Her whole body seems to slow down, and she looks almost somewhere else. Most people figure it's just a comfort habit, something she does when she's warm and relaxed, the way a person might tap their fingers without thinking about it. But here's what's really happening. When a kitten is newborn, she needs her mother's belly to stimulate milk flow. The rhythm of pressing triggers warmth, nourishment, and safety all at once. That is the first experience she ever has of the world. And her brain locks that sequence in permanently. The pressing, the warmth, the feeling of being held. It all becomes one single imprint. Behavioral researchers describe this as retained juvenile behavior, an action that begins as a survival mechanism in infancy, and in domestic cats, never fully switches off. What makes this remarkable is that the behavior doesn't surface randomly. It's tied to a specific emotional state, deep safety, not just comfort, not just warmth. The exact emotional place she was the first time she ever felt completely secure in her life. That's not a nervous habit. That's her body reaching back to the safest moment she has ever known and finding it in you. And later, I'll show you one thing she does with her paws during kneading that most owners never catch. Once you see it, the entire meaning of what she's telling you changes completely. 2, she's marking you as hers. Have you ever noticed that your cat seems to have a preferred spot she always needs? Your stomach, your thigh, that one specific corner of your lap. And she always comes back to the same place, session after session. Most people think she's just found a spot that feels good under her paws. Soft fabric, the right warmth, like she's checking whether the surface meets her standards. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats have scent glands embedded in the pads of their paws. Every time she presses down, she is releasing pheromones, invisible chemical signals, directly into whatever she's touching. When she kneads your lap, she isn't simply resting on you. She is writing her name on you in a language only she can read. This is called scent marking, and in feline social biology, it is one of the primary ways cats establish bonds and define safe territory. Cats in bonded colonies mark shared resting spaces to create a communal scent, a shared signature that says, without sound, this is ours. When your female cat returns to the same spot on your body night after night, pressing those paws into you with that slow, deliberate rhythm, she is building that communal signature between the two of you. That's not a cat finding a comfortable cushion. That's a cat quietly, methodically, press by press, claiming you as hers. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what she has been building toward, and why every single session of kneading is one piece of something much larger than a moment of comfort. And hey, if this is changing the way you see your cat right now, hit that like button and subscribe. That's how we get these videos to more cat owners who want to understand their cat the right way. 3, she only does this with someone she trusts completely. Have you ever watched your female cat around someone she doesn't know well? A guest, a new person in the house, and notice she never kneads on them, even if they manage to get her to sit in their lap. Most people assume she's just being shy, or that she needs more time to warm up. Nothing unusual there. But the absence of kneading is actually telling you something specific. Kneading requires your cat to reach a state of full neurological calm, the same deep safety she experienced as a newborn. That state doesn't happen around strangers. It doesn't happen around threats. It doesn't even happen around people she merely tolerates. It only happens around the people her nervous system has decided, on a biological level, are safe. A study from Oregon State University found that domestic cats form secure attachment bonds with their primary caregivers in ways that closely mirror how human infants bond with their mothers. The cats in that research showed measurable differences in their stress responses depending on whether their owner was present. Without them, anxious and withdrawn. With them, calm, open, willing to explore. Kneading maps directly onto this. It is a behavior that signals the complete lowering of defenses. And here's where it gets deeper. Your cat cannot perform that state. She either feels it or she doesn't. There is no version of kneading that is social, polite, or obligatory. Every single time she settles into your lap and those paws begin to move, she is telling you, without a single word, you are the safest place I have ever found. 4. The purr inside the knead is a different sound entirely. Have you ever noticed that when your female cat kneads, her purring sounds different than it does at other times? Deeper, maybe. Slower. Less urgent. Most people assume a purr is a purr. Cat is happy. Cat purrs. Simple as that. But researchers have found that cats produce more than one kind of purr, and they are not interchangeable. There is what scientists call a solicitation purr, a higher-pitched, slightly pressing sound cats use when they want something. Food, attention, the door opened. It contains an embedded urgency that humans respond to instinctively, almost like a faint cry woven into the sound. And then there is a different purr entirely, lower in frequency, slower, with none of that edge. The kind that surfaces specifically during deep contentment and social bonding. A researcher at the University of Sussex studied this distinction and found that the solicitation purr contains acoustic qualities that trigger a sense of urgency in the people who hear it, even when they don't consciously identify what they're responding to. The bonding purr carries none of that. It isn't asking anything of you. When your cat kneads and produces that lower, slower sound, she isn't requesting. She is simply present. That's not your cat on autopilot. That's your cat saying, right now, in this moment, with you, she has everything she needs. 5. What her paws are really saying. Remember at the beginning, when I said there's one thing she does with her paws that most owners never notice? This is it. Most people, watching their cat knead, focus on the rhythm, the alternating press, the repetition. They see the pattern and assume that's the complete picture. But watch her paws more closely the next time. Specifically, watch what happens at the very end of each downward press. Many cats extend their claws just slightly as the paw comes down, then retract them softly as it lifts. It happens in a fraction of a second. It's easy to miss, but that tiny extension is significant. In kitten nursing, the claw extension is what makes the pressing effective. It is the physical action that stimulates the mother. When an adult female cat does this on you, her body is running the full original sequence, not an echo of it, the whole thing. Behavioral researchers who study retained infant behaviors in domestic cats have noted that the more complete the behavioral sequence, press, slight extension, release, the deeper the emotional state the animal is in. A cat who kneads with that barely visible claw engagement is not partially relaxed. She is fully, completely, unreservedly at ease. And here's where it gets even more meaningful. This complete version of the behavior is observed most consistently toward the person a cat has her strongest attachment bond with. Not just any warm lap. Yours specifically. That small flash of claw you never noticed. That's not your cat forgetting her manners. That's her body remembering the very first love she ever felt, and deciding that you deserve the same thing. 6. She has been building something this entire time. Back in the second section, I said you'd understand by the end, what she's been building toward. What all of it, every session, adds up to. Here it is. Most people experience their cat's kneading as a series of separate moments. She climbs up, she presses, she settles. Warm, sweet, routine. Nothing that seems to connect to anything larger. But here's what has actually been happening. Every time, across every session, across every month and year she has spent with you. Cats build their sense of safety slowly, not through grand gestures, not in single revelatory moments. They build it through repetition, through the same experience, unfolding the same way, in the same place, with the same person, again and again, until their nervous system stops questioning it entirely. Every time your female cat needs you, she is doing two things at once. She is deepening the scent signature between you, layering her chemical mark over yours, session after session, until the two are completely interwoven. And she is reinforcing her own internal record. Her brain is filing this under. This is safe. This is mine. This is where I belong. Behavioral scientists describe adult needing as one of the clearest indicators of a secure, long-term bond. Not just comfort in the current moment, but the product of accumulated trust, built press by press over time. And there is one more layer. Research into bonding hormones has shown that sustained, gentle physical contact triggers the release of oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, in both humans and animals. When your cat needs you, she is not only expressing a bond, she is chemically reinforcing one. Every single session, both of you leave the interaction more connected than when it began. She doesn't know that. She's just following something her body has always understood. Think about every time you gently moved her off your lap because you had somewhere to be. Every time you glanced away while she pressed her paws into you, lost in your own thoughts. She wasn't aware of any of it. She was somewhere else entirely. Back in the first warm, safe moment she ever knew, and she had decided that moment lives in you. Ever noticed how she always comes back? How she finds you again, climbs up again, starts pressing again, as if no time has passed. That's not persistence. That's not habit. That's a record she keeps returning to, because you are what the record is about. That's not a cat being repetitive. That's not a cat who simply needs somewhere soft to sit. That is an animal who, out of every surface and every lap and every quiet corner in your home, chose you as her safe place, and has been proving it to you every single day in the only language she has ever known how to speak. To your female cat, you are not an owner. You are not the person who fills the bowl or opens the door. You are the place her body goes when it needs to remember what safe feels like. You are home.